Marine reacts to why every branch hates the United States Marines by NICKY MGTV. As always, I'm going to be leaving a link to the original video and channel down in the description below, so go ahead and make sure that you check them out. So I don't know how this is going to happen or plan out. Is it going to be they hate us because they legitimately cannot stand us? Or hate us out of jealousy? I mean, because there's certain branches that are a little jealous of other ones. Like, for example, for the Marines, it's always that the Army always has the better gear. They're considered the rich kids. And that your typical Marine is considered the lower poor of the branches, right? Now, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. I mean, you know, they have good gear, you know. We have gear. But in any case, yeah, I don't know if this is going to be like this guy. I mean, I barely found this out because I was literally just typing US Marines on YouTube, just seeing like what's out there. And this guy's video came up. I don't know if he's going to be making this as like more of a comedic type, or if he's actually serious. Or I mean, I would assume it might be a little comedic considering the fact that he's got like a Navy styled mustache. In any case, this should be very interesting nonetheless. So let's go ahead and get to the actual video. But before we do, don't forget to like, subscribe. It really does help me out a lot. Hit that notification bell right there. That way you're notified every time I do upload. Sometimes I upload twice a day. Now working on them whenever I can and releasing them at some point the next day. That way you at least got one video to watch at your leisure. I fucked up the intro again. Fuck it, we're doing it live.
The Marines, one of the most elite fighting forces.
Alright, to be fair, I've never been in a squad bay with these type of lockers. The only people who I've seen use these lockers are some of my friends who were on the admin side of things. And this was like their schooling or where they would go at for after they went through a MCT. And then they would go to the school for their specific job, and then this is where they would be. But you know what? Pretty good description of the Marine Corps just doing stuff because they're bored.
I'll do quotations because people laugh when I say that. But historically talking about in the world context and history, and that has been hated on by almost every other U.S. military branch for a few reasons. If you guys don't know, I actually did have a series.
You know what? I probably should have looked at the description because I'm also seeing here why everyone hates the Air Force, why everyone hates the Coast Guard. So he's made one for every single one of these, and that's pretty cool. I mean, shows that he's not being biased. Although at this point, I'm gonna assume it's more for comedic effect, or like more the funny aspect. If I did have to say one thing though, that would probably be, I guess, one of the jabs, so to speak, that you can like throw at the other branches. I would probably say it's that the Marine Corps is the one branch that it's supposed to be a section of the Navy technically, and it's not necessarily a branch that is needed, but it is a branch that is wanted. So, I mean, I've always heard talk of somebody in Washington that they were thinking of dismantling the United States Marine Corps. I mean, obviously, it was probably all just rumors and all that, but technically, the big thing was that the Army could do everything technically that the Marines can do as far as I mean, if you want to say tactics, equipment, personnel, all that stuff. But it's that the U.S. wants the Marine Corps, and I feel like that's the biggest flex as far as I can think of right now that the Marines have. And I just saw this out of the corner of my, I don't know if you all know this, Nava the Beast. I'm not gonna say too much on him because, you know, he does his own thing. He's not, at least in the O3, or people that I know that are O3s, and a lot of pages on Instagram. Who like Terminal Lance, I think, Disgruntled Docs, Chug Vets or something like that, or Chug for Vets. This guy gets memed on a lot, and I'm gonna go ahead and just let you watch his videos and make your own conclusions about him. His name is Nava the Beast. Although I have seen that he has transitioned out of the military, and that he's actually selling houses from last I checked. But, I mean, hey man, he's doing good. Nothing bad on him, just let's go with the video.
where I was talking about why everyone hates the Navy, why everyone hates the Coast Guard, why everyone hates the Air Force, and those went very well, but I somehow forgot to do the Army, and I'm somehow forgetting to do the Marine Corps, so those videos are coming out right now. To preface this whole thing, newcomers, welcome. Appreciate it. Please subscribe, like, I promise you. I'm a Navy Corpsman that's been with the Marines for a little bit of time to tell you guys
oh shit, sorry. Yeah, man, definitely go check him out. I kind of already like his vibe. I like his mustache. Good smile. I like his shirt.
a little bit that I, as a bystander, have observed all these things firsthand, and some of them are not pretty. Now, the first one here, why people are hating on the U.S. Marine Corps.
Also, real quick, for the docs that are attached to the specifically line company, we love you. You know, I mean, honestly, I've had docs that are really chill. I've had docs that really help me out. And times where I got too drunk and I had to get driven to the hospital, which granted was on me, but they would still take the time out of their own time, because sometimes it'd be on a weekend, or sometimes maybe people get into a fight, people get injured, and they're literally taking their own time to go help their boys. So you're very much appreciated.
Or USMC for short, Marines. How many different titles can you have to name one branch? We just have the Navy, U.S. Navy. That's it. Nothing fancy. But let's get into the first thing here, where it is ego. God forbid a Marine doesn't tell you that they're a Marine before you even get the chance to even...
I do this every video. I say, Marine reacts to so-and-so. I won't even lie. He's completely right about this. But here's the thing. In the beginning, it's like a very nice, calm, not very in-your-face type ego, right? It's when you really get into the fleet. And I'm only speaking from my experience coming in as an 0311 or infantryman, right? You're coming in, you kind of want to be good at your jobs just so that everything runs smoothly, right? Like you're not getting into trouble with anybody. And then the ego doesn't come out until you get past that first deployment. Doesn't matter whether or not you've seen combat or anything like that. People get the biggest egos and think they're the hottest shit coming out, to the point that I've seen a lot of Marines, not necessarily in my platoon, but a lot of them in the other platoons in the same company that I was in, that certain people were getting into fights because they're trying to talk smack to a dude who's not only bigger than them, knows how to fight, but hasn't been on a deployment. And then this little dude who's like, what, 5'6", just because he's been on one deployment and went to Kuwait, thinks he can mess with them. Like, hey man, you can try, but if he does anything against you, you're pretty much on your own. So the ego really comes out in a very negative aspect. Not all Marines. I mean, it didn't happen with me. It didn't happen with a lot of my buddies that I was very close with. Really get the big ego after their first deployment. And you're going to see a lot of people change. And then as soon as they get out of the Marine Corps, a lot of it changes right back to normal, right? Like the ego is no longer there just because they're not in that type of environment anymore. And they really got to transition to civilian life. Because a lot of things, military and civilian-wise, do not translate very well.
And ask. Actually, let's make a correction. They're probably going to notify you on the back of their car with the U.S. Marine Corps sticker, their rank somewhere behind there. Also, don't forget they're going to have the placard around their license plate.
Okay, that ball sack. Okay, so all that stuff, all those posters and everything, two people have that. Well, ones who are really motivated and like are very, I guess you would consider them the nerdy part of the Marine Corps, but also the type of people in the Marine Corps who would like sell you out. I mean, not everybody. Some people are just really proud that, because maybe it's family tradition, all that. But the majority of them that I've seen have that, the rank, the actual plate, is typically those who are maybe, I want to say, staff sergeant and above. So typically the older people who have been there for a while. You might see some people barely coming into it, but that's more considered it'd be considered boot-ish. So, yeah.
God forbid they don't have some other trashy thing on the back there to just really epitomize the Marine Corps culture, to really let you know, I'm a Marine. Now, the Marine ego doesn't just stop on the highway, on their trucks. They're also going to make sure in the gym. They're the person that's the ego lifter. They can no longer have anybody outdo them, no matter if they've only benched 135 pounds for reps like myself. But that's not the point here. They're the people that are working on their VA disability to ensure that essentially they're going to have spine damage for the rest of their lives just to prove their buddy across the hallway in the barracks that can't lift more than they can. But But I will say, Marines tend in this ego category to be like a bull in a china shop. They're kind of the rough around the edges friend, but they're going to be loyal. But that's not based on no credibility at all, or have to be of some value in order to ensure that they're going to even say that you're worthy of their defense, as any good loyal friend would be. Now the next one is...
Okay, before the part about the gym, at least in my experience, yeah, sure, there's going to be shit talking, man. They're guys, right? And that it wasn't necessarily very negative. They might just say that they can deadlift more than you, squat more than you, bench more than you. I mean, I never really got that strong just because I ended up actually having a couple back spasms and messed up my back a lot. Just because that's when I really started to actually work out. So a lot of my form I was going based off of YouTube videos. And even then, it wasn't very good, and I didn't really have anybody coaching me through it. And you would ask your buddies, hey, man, can you help me lift? And then just say, yeah, man, just do it like this. But they don't give you like any proper cues, techniques, and all that, which might also be the reason that I'm going to school right now to become a personal trainer, but to ensure that that doesn't happen to other people that are trying to get into the working out. And yeah, I didn't really see too many people who were legitimately, I mean, unless you were like insanely out of shape and that would hinder the squad or fire team that you're a part of during, say, like a range or something. But other than that, I don't think they really talk too much shit or like nothing that was very, I guess, with malintent in my experience, of course.
Is uniforms. Looking at their uniforms, everybody loves the dress uniform from the Marine Corps. It's classic. It's got this high neck. It's got a cool combination cover on the top. It looks like...
First of all, this thing chokes the living shit out of you, man. The whole leather neck thing, and God, I've fucked up with this cover 2 times. First time, too small. Second time, too big. Couldn't even adjust it right. And my shit, the little rim right here, is impossible to get on correctly. And yeah, it always falls off. I just took a picture of my own uniform. And I mean, because I don't know who this is, because there's a lot of people with different. So you got the dude right here who's been in at least the fleet for 30 days. Dude who probably just got out of boot camp. Dude's been in a while. Yeah, okay. So I just took a picture of mine, and I think I'm actually missing a ribbon that would go up here, and I'm missing all the other ribbons of my other uniforms I've got stashed away in the closet. So I'll post that up somewhere here, just so I don't know.
You are a robot almost, and it has so much heritage to it. You've got the neck that resembles the leather necks from back in their history. You've got the Battle of Chapultepec blood stripe on the side for the NCOs that are out there represent. I shout.
Even though I got promoted to a corporal on like the last couple weeks, last 2 weeks ish, I got the red stripes because they gave us like this little baggy thing, and I never put them on. And I think I've only got one Charlie shirt that actually has my corporal chevrons on it. Everything else still has Lance.
To you guys, but realistically, there is history there that people think these are some of the best looking uniforms. I will tell you also, the Marpat is probably the best, most military looking uniform in regards to a.
I will say though, dress uniform wise, I think it looks, for me at least, on me, looks better than some of the other branches in my opinion. I mean, you can put your own thoughts on that in the comments down below. The Marpat though, I genuinely think that I'm trying to say this without being biased, that we have the best in my opinion. I mean, that could just be because that could just be because I was in the Marine Corps. But also, I don't remember a time wearing those actual camis in deployment. It was always just frogs.
Working uniform compared to the Navy are guacamole green Type 3 NWUs. And if you look at the Army, they've somehow come a little bit of ways from that nasty gray. And same with the Air Force and Space Force. It's just all lumped together of this like kind of new brown type thing. But I still think the Marine Corps, and most people will agree on this, the Marine Corps Marpat is the one that stands the test of time. We won't mention pickle suits. We're not going to mention that.
Also, we're too poor to afford other uniforms.
Green on green is just so basic. We'll just keep that there. But we're just talking about the alphas, okay? We'll just keep that because that's what most people think of, and it doesn't look like the sailor uniform, even though I do like the classic look for us. And yeah, I will say it looks sharp in my opinion. Now the third one here, there's a lot of debate that's going to happen. I already know it. The Marines are first to fight. They're an amphibious force to go from the water onto land. Now, of course, that's not been the case in the past.
I have heard, I don't remember who it's supposed to be, but there's 2 and I don't remember which ones they were that would go in front of us. I would assume it would be soft guys, but I'm not 100% sure on that.
Decade or two where we've looked at Iraq or Afghanistan, and OIF and OEF where we were not going from the water to the shores and attacking these areas. It was mostly land-based, which is actually kind of different for the Marine Corps and what their mission is. And I know people are going to say too,
what about D-Day, Nicky? What do you mean? That was the Army that did that.
Okay, we'll give you some respect. It's all right. You don't have to be so mean. But yes, in theory, the Marines are first to fight, and that's one thing that people hate when they talk about that. But if you look at it, obviously there are other forces or different assets from other services that could make them first to fight if you want to look at that perspective. But I will say the Marine Corps is more so known for this than I would say the other branches. I already know you're going to dislike the video at that point, so it's okay. Veteran Johnny, I know you're upset that I'm not mentioning the Army as being better than the Marine Corps. I know, that's why you clicked on this video. And the fourth one here,
there's definitely the God, I can't remember who they are. I'm gonna have to research this later, and I might post it in the comment if I end up actually finding out. I'm pretty sure there was 2 groups that go in front of us, but I can't think of it off the top of my head. But I really genuinely think it's soft guys, but I'm not sure.
One here is they are known to be the quotations more elite fighting force. Now, people, when they rank the branches, when they talk about which ones are the most lethal or the most notorious for being combat ready, a lot of people look at the Marine Corps first. So that's what I'm talking.
Honestly, it just depends on the situation and what the terrain is, right? I mean, there's a lot more variables, but I would say it really just depends.
We're not talking about SEALs and MARSOC and Raiders and the Green Berets, all these other units. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about everything combined, the conventional forces, everything here. And I will say the Marines do hold that title as being the best, right? That's what is known to be up there. And that's also why the Marine Corps does sell the title of Marine. If you look at any Marine Corps advertisement, they sell that title so hard.
What it means to be among the few, the proud, the Marines.
It's almost like when you work at a job, when you're like, hey, I might get a pay raise, and they're like, we're going to give you a title. And they're like, but do I eventually get a pay raise? And you're like, I'm going to give you a title. You're going to like it. It's called a Marine. And you're like, oh, Marine. And you totally forget any of the other stuff that you wanted out of that.
That's true. They just always say that you're gonna get the title of a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine, and they really do sell you on that, man. I mean, not in my case. I was just trying to get in, and yeah, but shit. I mean, I've kind of seen that in other videos as well, as far as like just the title itself. But I mean, I feel like it gets a lot of guys, to like actually, at the very least, check it out, right?
But at least when you leave the service, you have the title Marine. And that may piss off some people here as well, but it is what it is. And that's why you'll see people that do have a Marine title in their thumbnail. You're going to see views go through the sky. It's because the title Marine and that elite ability, or the elite capability of those forces are so known to everybody that it almost does give more notoriety to them. Shout out to
Jameson Travels and the Original Human. God, I've been watching them. But also real quick, check out this guy, Combat Veteran Reacts. He's got a picture of his picture's gonna be of him in his army camis, and I think it looks like he's a lieutenant in his photo. But I'm gonna go ahead and link his channel down in the description below, because I saw some of his videos, man. Not only does he have an insane amount of knowledge, he's also got knowledge as far as history. I remember one when I watched his reaction video of the Court Krieg from the Warhammer 40k universe. He even broke it down as far as to the gear that the Krieg were carrying and how it related to, I can't remember at the top of my head. It was World War I or World War II. Like, he knew a lot of history on it and just has a lot of good information. So if you really want to check out someone who really dissects things very well, definitely Combat Veteran Reacts. I'm going to be linking him down in the description down below.
Travels and Original Human as they talk about this, but it's honorary for Original Human because he's technically not from the U.S. Marine Corps. But
also real quick, I mean, I don't have Marine in my name, but I do the Marine Reacts, so it does, I guess, apply. First, so far, everything he said, Pretty accurate. Pretty accurate, man.
We'll lump them in there. Now the fifth one here is they have the best living conditions. You guys get the outdoor experience. You're going to be able to have a camping to the extreme here with the Marine Corps. They offer so many different options of places you could be at. They've been proven to be in places that are desert hot, different climates, also in jungles and other places like that around the world. So I will say that you're going to get your full experience with those areas, and I just don't think the Navy offers that same thing, or the Air Force. So realistically, those types of travel are just really great. Plus, on top of that, I believe it's like over 20 different courses.
Wait a minute. I just want to make sure. It did say best living condition. Right? Best living condition. I want to say I hope he's being sarcastic. Because not only I've seen so many rats in my barracks room, right? I've seen so much everything broken, a shitload of dryers and washers that hardly ever worked and didn't even work by the time I got to the fleet and got out. 29 palms for you, man. Fucking, there's so much wrong with the fucking barracks. Not only that, you get out in the field, sure, you get to sleep outside, but what about when it's fucking cold? It's fucking piss and rain on you. It's hot as shit, and you're out there, and you're still having to sleep. Like, you're literally trying to sleep outside, like, during the summer, outside on top of your baby sack and your sleeping bag on your iso mat. But you got fucking animals that want to try to take your shit, like your MREs. You got sometimes people who get snakes that crawl around close by. Even the chow hall, man. Can't tell you how many times the Dexo has fucked up cooking chicken.
Meal of your choosing, 3 meals a day, comes prepackaged for your own individual use. So realistically, I would say this is better than the Navy's hot chow. You're looking at this from the perspective of maybe it's hot on the ship and at least they have that, but getting to pick your own meal every day, come on, guys.
Okay, now I know he's being sarcastic. Okay, so I thought he was God, I've been out for a while, man. My sarcasm radar has been off lately.
Guys, you guys know the Marine Corps is better for that. Okay, I'm lying. I would say the last thing here is brotherhood, and that is essentially because people have watched so many different movies and shows about the military, which the Marine Corps does have this brotherhood aspect to it. Now, a lot of people that are in like, that's bullshit. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's your perspective. But I will say,
honestly, man, it's very, very true, but also very creepy at times. It can be very cultish. And it's weird, man. It's like those one thing, I mean, God, I don't even know what to call it, man. It's the type of thing where it's like, if you were to meet, I mean, it's only me speaking from a Marine perspective. If you meet someone else just in the random street who you found out was a Marine, doesn't matter what their job was, doesn't matter what they did, I feel like you two would be able to connect and become friends just like that, right? I mean, something just because you've all been through this, some form of the same bullshit, and I don't know, just that connection. Doing things during shitty times really helps solidify that, even if you never even knew the person, just because they hold the title United States Marine.
As a whole, as a macro perspective, not your micro anecdotal perspective, there is a brotherhood, you know, and I think a lot of people don't see it until they actually leave the military. But if you say you're a Marine to someone else that wasn't a Marine, there is an instant communication or bond that does happen there, probably stronger than others because it is a...
I said it, right? I said it. And it really does happen when you're about to leave. And I'm pretty sure I said this in another video. My biggest regret was not taking enough pictures with some of the other guys that I met there. I mean, I had a few, but I thought it was cheesy at the time. But, you know, really regret not doing that a whole lot more. And it really does hit you as soon as you get out. Because you got friends who are going to be literally they're spread out throughout the whole country. And I don't know, man, it just really hits you. And then once you do get the chance to see them, and I just got to see a couple friends here recently, man, can't tell you I haven't been so giddy in a long time.
Smaller branch where they will relate more closely than maybe how big the branches are for the Army and the Navy and such. Probably hated by every other single branch in the U.S. military and kind of the stereotypes that go with that. Again, this is brotherly love. This is not a true hate on the Marine Corps. This is not a bringing your shields, bringing your pitchforks to make sure you jab it into your brother over there. That's not what this is about, because I know people are going to be pissed off, but this is just why we talk about the different stereotypes and for you to understand the culture that's there.
All right, let's go ahead and talk about that for a minute. Now, I'm not going to talk too long because this video is going a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. But in any case, I don't think, when he said that somebody get pissed, it's like, no. I don't think anyone can get pissed with the facts, man. This This guy literally hit the biggest things, and it's like there's never one of those where I was like, what? I mean, I kind of did with the living conditions, but then obviously my whole sarcasm radar has fucking been off for a while. I mean, but in any case, pretty factual, man. I mean, the Marine Corps, man. I don't know. I mean, I haven't been in any other branch. I've seen many instances where the Marine Corps had a lot of great valleys and a lot of great things that it's supposed to do, right? The only people that really kill it are the people who are in there for long term. I mean, I'm not, and this doesn't mean to everybody, but there's some that just make it complete BS to a lot of the lower guys who are like lance corporals, which causes a lot of them not to want to stay in. And even those who were kind of tearing whether they want to stay in maybe another 4 years just to see how things go, maybe even just extend another 2 years. A lot of these guys in these chain command, in the higher chain command, these positions, just, God, the things, they're an asshole. I mean, to put it plainly, right? And then the higher you go up, I mean, it's hard. So the way essentially higher chain of command treats their Marines really is going to dictate, at least in my opinion, whether or not someone's going to want to stay in or not. I mean, I've had the majority of the people get out. I've had a lot of people change different units. I mean, I've had a squad leader who said, don't judge the whole Marine Corps based on your first unit. Most of the time, you're never going to like your first one. So I had a couple of friends who moved to different units. I had the other group of friends who were slightly bigger and ended up going to, I think, some went to the Army, some went to the Air Force, and like one or two I can think of went to the Navy. And so they still, some of them, I'm going to say maybe half, still want to do 20 years in the military, but they don't want to do it in the Marine Corps. It's not because of the actual organization in itself as far as what the Marine Corps is supposed to be and do. It's not because of the people who are at their level, let's say to like maybe even E5, sometimes E6. It's not even towards them. It's for the people who are higher up that just make it a living fucking shit show for no reason. And people just don't want to stay in. But let's go ahead and be my little rant at the end. I mean, just because there's a lot of good dudes, man. And it's really hard to describe. It's something that you're probably never really understand unless you actually go through it. But that's pretty much all I got to say. Don't forget to like, subscribe. It really does help me a lot. Hit that dislike button if you didn't like it. It helps me improve the channel. If you're curious to see what's coming up next, hit the description down below. You're going to see a list of about 5 videos. From top to bottom, it's going to be how I view them. But until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.